the meeting to order at 7:02. We have a envelope from Eversource telling us about their plans to rebuild the Q185 power line that runs through Waterford, Concord, and Lunenburg, I think. But anyway, just telling us the overview of what they're planning on doing. It's to us and the select board. We haven't heard anything back from Kyle on an update about rewriting the town plan.
Yes, we have heard. I have heard from Kyle.
Okay.
So, before the last meeting, what he and I decided we should do is, he wanted us to mark up and send to him our markup. Not necessarily with inclusions, but what we're taking out. So,
Okay.
there are, I think, 8 different sections, and I thought if we each took 2, we could just scratch through them. So, but I thought tonight we would go through like my markup of this section, community facilities and services, and then we can divvy them up, and then so then we'll know if we're on the same page. So if you look at
Page 14.
starting at 13.
Okay, 13.
So, where it says existing conditions, water and wastewater, we have the first paragraph we're going to leave in. There is presently no municipal water supply system for the town of Waterford, and the rest of that first paragraph. Then, the next 2 paragraphs, I would scratch out completely. Because you just switch down to presently there are no municipal or collective sewage systems within the town of Waterford. So there's no municipal water supply, so we don't need St. J's information about Stiles Pond. And this is what he wants, you know, he wants us to have more of like a snapshot. So, in going along with that, can you see a reason why there's a need for either of these 2 paragraphs?
Well, the 20-inch main is the only access for municipal water that we have, which is over there on Higgins Hill.
So you believe this should be in?
Well, that's pertinent information that, you know, that's the only place that we have access other than down at Sumsick.
It's pertinent information, but is it pertinent information for our town plan when we're not messing with that at all?
I guess the only thing, I'm just
Yeah.
spitballing here. Say the Zhangs decide, yep, we're selling the farm, we're moving wherever. They sell that property, as small as it might be, that would have access to that. And you could put high density apartment building there. Same with Moonstruck Inn, it runs right straight through that area.
Okay. But in this section of our existing conditions for water and wastewater, I think that we should say that the 20-inch main for St. Johnsbury, with whatever these directions are, but the 20-inch main is our only.
Yeah.
So put that language, how did you say it? This 20-inch main for St. Johnsbury follows the outlet from Stiles Pond through the area served by the I-93 and Route 18 interchange. This is the town's
only access to municipal water.
only access
other than Psumsic, has a very minuscule. I don't even think it comes in, Waterford even comes close to that,
Okay,
cause you know what Psumsic is.
Down by Route 5,
Yeah.
by the church.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
you gotta come into the village.
Yeah.
No, Nelson Whitehills. The water line comes right by Nelson Whitehills and by the church.
It does.
so it's not the only access point?
I was just I just got thinking about it. There's a hydrant right in front of Whitehill's house.
Okay, so that's good to put in that there's another
Yep.
access down there.
Yep.
This is two,
Two access.
are there two
Yes.
access points? This is one of two. Okay. So, going down then to the next full paragraph, both individual wells. You wanna read that to yourself? I was gonna leave that
Yep.
in.
Yep.
Do you agree?
Yep.
Okay. And the next, if residential densities continue to be low, individual water and wastewater systems should be sufficient. Denser, that's fine, right?
Yep.
Okay. So then we're going to, so we have effectively changed this whole page to
Half.
half.
Yep.
Okay, so solid waste disposal, I have, leaving that first, over to page 14.
We can get rid of this whole section here, can't we?
I think so. I have a question mark here. Solid waste is collected at the Waterford Town Garage. Is that right?
Well, that's the complexes that,
Is that what we, okay. Act 148, recycling, blah, 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 blah.
I don't think we need anything to do
Right.
with that.
I have scratched off everything down to, well, I scratched that whole next paragraph too, but. Like we don't, so why do we need that in there,
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
Okay, so then, we already talked about this whole broadband availability. We're gonna rewrite it, he's gonna rewrite it, but we're gonna say, rewrite that section of broadband with the NEK that came through.
Yep.
And then we're on to page 15, public buildings. Yeah, I mean, I know we're proud of our buildings, but it's a lot of fluff in there. The physical structure is a fine colonial structure which has received excellent maintenance.
Well, it's nothing to do with us anymore.
Hi, Kim.
That's gone.
Hello.
Good evening.
Hi there.
You
Like-
find your way home all right?
Well, roads are kind of,
This way, yeah.
I had to get rid of the grandkids. So that's pooped.
Yeah. So what do you think? What, take out all this stuff on the library? What
Well,
do you think?
no, you have to mention,
That it's a fine colonial structure? Okay.
well, we don't have to go into collection of 3,000 books and da-da-da-da-da.
Okay.
Right.
Okay,
But the Congregational Church,
wait a minute, I'm not done with the dang library. Okay, room to take out, it consists of a large open room, various meetings, children's room. Okay, then I'm gonna leave in the downstairs houses, the post office, town clerk, and treasurer's office. Take out all this stuff.
What do you wanna chop it up at all? Just leave that whole thing?
No,
Why not?
cause it, what do we care about that it's enough?
Well, people say public meetings, they gotta know.
Yeah,
Yeah, select board meetings here, planning board meetings here, DRB's meetings here.
alright, I'll make it nicer. Has the functions. Jesus. But I am taking out the 3,000 books.
Yeah,
I think we should have, the town makes an annual appropriation to the library, not annually, twice, which is used for blah, 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 salary. Do you want that in? How it's run? Just the last 2 sentences?
I don't think you need to.
I don't
Right,
either, cause
but
it's
that's
about the
just-
building, right?
It doesn't really matter.
Okay, now the church, yeah, we lost out on $2 million.
we did?
They sold it, he sold it for 2.02 million to Rabbit Hill.
Josh did?
Yep,
Oh, I didn't realize I didn't miss that
That
he
he
sold
bought
it.
for one.
$1
$1.
that no one wanted the town to buy. And he got money from the church people, like 80 grand
Yeah.
until they
To
bought
fix
it
it
out.
up, yeah?
He's a millionaire.
Again,
I figured the money he got to fix it up, he would've had to fix it up. I was thinking that there was a,
He didn't do anything,
they did the electrical.
that's it.
but I knew he,
So we can cross out all that church, cause we got nothing to do with it. So Waterford Elementary School stay, town garage. I took out, it should adequately serve the town's needs for the next 5 years, cause we're talking about doing maintenance on it now. I'm sorry, page 15. So,
I was on 34, I saw 4, I thought we were like really doing well, I'm like, perfect.
oh no, I'm just going over one that I did, so we can see if we all agree on the sort of thing, and then divvy them up. So I didn't know if you wanted to include like any changes, challenges, or just say the garage is there.
Well, no, you can leave it there and
It's not
It's-
gonna
it's-
adequately
it,
serve.
it
the town.
needs,
Yeah, I would take out that, it
Yeah,
should
that one.
adequately serve for the next 5 years, that should be gone.
Right.
it needs
Just in the
updating
near future, updates and repairs
or needed.
will be needed. That's what
Yep.
I wrote,
That's good.
in the near future.
Cause
It
town
will.
plan is gonna foresee what
Mhm.
needs to be.
Will be needed.
Yeah.
Okay. Volunteer fire department, I just had left, Waterford has a volunteer fire department with rescue.
Yeah, 'cause I don't have a clue
We
how
don't
many
know,
volunteers they have.
we're,
Approximately 23 a year in the ballpark, give or take.
do you want it to say that?
Yeah, I'd leave it just the way it is.
Do they still have just 3
Well,
trucks?
we don't know how many trucks they have.
They have 4. They got a rescue truck, forest fire truck, pumper truck, and an engine.
So you want me to say 4?
Sure.
Okay. Public safety. Current police services consist of protection through state police, county sheriffs. Go.
Can I make just while we're on the fire department,
Mm-hmm.
should we make mention of that we contract with Calex for ambulance service?
Did we do our contract with Calix?
I believe so, as far as I
Weren't
know.
they saying, weren't there some changes in the works?
Or we can just say that we contract out for ambulance service.
It's probably good to do it that way.
Yes, we don't know.
Well, it's become quite a ticket
Yes.
item, $57,000
Yes.
last year.
We contract out for emergency,
Ambulance service.
okay. Alright, state police outposts located there, Sheriff's Office in St. J, readily available. There's a town constable and a second constable, which are quasi-police positions. Alright, they're not quasi-police positions. They have no police authority. And do we even have the second constable still? Or is it just Tommy Lawrence? Is that his name?
I know, well, yeah, what is Mr. Lawrence's son? He's first constable, and then Tom Thomas is second, right?
Right.
Okay,
So,
so
yeah.
there is a second
We do
constable.
have a second, yeah, so I
I'm
think.
just
I don't-
ending
is
it
that in
there,
Yeah.
cause I will not
Yeah.
write the
Okay. I don't
quasi-police
even know.
position. They're not.
Okay.
They are non-commissioned positions.
Yes.
And as such have no authority in either civil or criminal matters, only enforcement of town ordinances. Okay, this might be controversial, but they don't even do those.
They don't what?
They don't even do those, do they? I don't see them enforcing anything.
Well, they do kinda. It's like that whole debacle up on Hulbert Hill Lane with the guy leaving the camper on other people's property. Tommy is looking into it and working with the sheriff's department, you know. We don't have a lot of that
No,
stuff,
we don't.
thank God. for that.
Okay. The primary duty of this officer is that of tax collector, is that
And
true?
No, we
No.
have a tax collector.
Right,
Yeah.
okay, so I can
Or
scratch that.
We don't, we have the,
And
Used to be.
so, oh,
the only public safety problems expressed centered around security at isolated public buildings and minor traffic and civil problems.
well, we don't know that.
We don't know that anymore. Like, have we polled our?
Well, no,
our
I mean,
things?
honestly, the public safety problems, well, we had the drug house down there where the guy got shot across
Right.
from
Right.
from the fire department. So we do have other public safety
Right,
issues, the whole boat launch area.
and that's why I think
So-
under the heading of public safety, it should say what we have, not what our problems. So this is what we
Yeah.
have available
Yeah.
to us.
Yep.
Okay. Emergency management,
So you wanna cross out that whole
That-
last.
I'm taking,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
primary duty and beyond.
Yep.
Okay, so the last is, oh no, yeah, is that right? 15,
Or has a local emergency operations
60,
plan.
okay.
We must have a plan somewhere.
Yep, there were two, I didn't know anything about this, so I just left it. I think
That is correct. The elementary school and Union Baptist Church are the two emergency shelters.
okay,
That's why we paid to
still
have the generator at the school.
okay, then we leave that.
Yep.
Planning considerations, number one, I mean, that internet access is out.
That's not,
That's,
mute point, isn't it, with all this broadband?
we
What do you
shouldn't
mean?
need it,
Yeah.
right? Like, that's not
We're not
really consideration,
considering-
we should just scratch that whole,
Yeah,
Yeah, we take that
Out.
out.
these
Yep.
are, this is under our, what are our considerations?
Right.
Oh,
I thought with
right.
broadband going through town, it's done.
Right,
Yeah, so there's not,
Exit out.
yep, so we'll take it right out.
Okay.
I have it
And
crossed
then-
out on mine.
You had me confused.
I'm
as you were
sorry, I
talking.
and then I left the next one, cause again, I didn't know. Should we just leave that?
Well, it's,
It's sort of the same thing.
well,
Is
it
that
is,
still a consideration?
yeah.
Okay, then we'll leave it.
Okay.
So, under our goals, we went over with Kyle and we X'd out 1, 2, left 3, and 4. So that's how he would like us to kind of mark up our sections. We don't have to put in, like, rewrite it. We'll
Just kind of take out.
take out stuff and like your note,
Edit.
you'd leave that in there, like what you think it should say.
Yep.
And he'll like word it however.
Mhm.
So that one is done and we don't need to go over it. So, that's done. So now,
Now, the education one is
Mhm.
gonna be,
big,
well, it's contentious,
okay,
because the state's putting their nose more and more into it.
well, then, does that mean that you want that section?
No. He's the expert.
Well, I don't know if I'd say the expert, but
But you would know
Yeah.
what should be in there.
yeah,
Right.
is this, so there's probably nothing in here about the cooperation too, right? Like
No,
the
there is
CCSD,
not.
so,
Cause
We
it
That-
still
talked about
lists,
that
yeah,
when
'cause it
Kyle
still
was
leaves
here, yeah.
Essex on here, Essex Caledonia, which we're not part of.
yeah, so I think we need to be able to add that into this.
But how much of this needs to be gone?
I'm sure a bunch of it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, this whole thing about Act 77 from 2014.
Yeah,
We don't probably 2014, 2015. I would think that could be gone
Yep.
because
The-
they've either been doing it now for, we're in 24.
Yeah.
So for 10 years they've been doing that.
yeah,
So
And I think you can take
all
out
these tables
the tables, yeah.
yeah,
need to be updated.
they do,
Well, I don't
and
even know that you,
I've asked the school to give me better new
there's
numbers
so
to
many numbers,
update
yeah,
these, and I think
that's important,
at least 5 years, I think, it
Yeah.
shows,
the growth or not,
yeah, yeah, so
Yeah.
I think that would be important to be able to show.
that's
in there.
good.
And then same like this line here from 2016, there is equivalent number of 17 full-time
Yeah.
teachers. So that there has changed.
Yeah,
The whole.
And you can decide, like, just indicate, you don't have to find out that number, you know what I mean? You
Yep.
just indicate, needs an update, and Kyle will get the information.
Yep.
So where it needs, but the information that you have, you should definitely put in.
yep, and that makes sense, and I think getting the numbers at least updated for the teachers and the students would be good.
Yeah, 'cause
Right,
that's gonna
yeah.
show how the numbers start to rise,
Right,
Mm-hmm.
cause we're gonna have a COVID boom.
Yeah. and even this, I was just looking at the secondary school one too, like being able to
Right,
put those numbers in too,
yep,
yeah, and updating the fiscal.
Yeah, because this
Cause even like 16,
St. J Academy tuition, that's not bad. And
no,
No.
it's a lot higher than that.
Yep.
Now.
and when we were talking about the planning considerations on this section, I have an X by the second paragraph, did we agree to get rid of that? Page 21? Although Waterford has had significant growth in the last 10 plus years, school enrollment has decreased over the last 5 years, reflecting trends throughout
I don't
Northeast
think you can
Kingdom.
say that.
Right,
Yeah.
that's why I think I have an X through it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then,
Well, we got one person that was a retired person, sold their house on Duck Pond Road. I think they've got 5 kids. They moved up from Arkansas. Is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
5 kids in school,
yeah,
no thanks.
That jumps on that.
and it's a varying age too, cause there's even some secondary schooling.
Usually that's when we see them come, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, then we
Yeah.
get new people in, and then they
Really?
go to the academy.
Yeah.
That's why they come here. And sometimes after the kids have gone through high school, they leave.
Leave.
Yeah. But it has been that trend forever. I mean,
Right, but it's always been that short little span.
usually, well, yeah, it's usually the high school, and then they come middle school, like 7th and 8th
Yeah.
grade, somewhere in there. They like to come for a couple years
Yeah,
to the graded
before
school.
they, so they
And
can
then-
meet their
yep,
friends.
And then they head to the academy.
But we've had a large increase of people who've basically retired here, or have retired because of the housing prices going up. They've sold out and people have moved in with kids. And you got a new neighbor. They moved in here full time, Callie's,
You have a new neighbor?
across the pond.
Oh,
Back in-
across, yeah, oh, up there, oh, are they, yeah, by the
They've got one or two kids.
neighbors, they're like, you know what, like
Like-
a mile away.
I'm your, right, I'm your neighbor.
Yes, but they did, yes, go on, yeah, oh, they are there full, yep,
Yeah, they moved up.
so, yeah. I mean, you do see, I can usually tell when the school bus starts coming, and then like down at Herbie's, last year, there was a school bus stop, and I'm like, he's in his 70s, he got any little kids there, but I think someone was staying there, I don't know if it was a
Well,
traveling
that's the
nurse
people who
or-
moved down to Duck Pond.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's where they, oh. So,
She's
yeah,
a nurse, apparently.
yeah, cause that's what someone told me, they had like traveling nurses, I'm like, and they bring the kids and for a year or two, or, I was like, huh.
Okay, so.
Yeah,
I'm
so the
gonna-
school stuff, a lot of that just needs to be kind of more updated,
Yeah.
Yeah.
cause the whole, it's Caledonia Co-op, we did that.
So,
So you're
on
gonna
planning
do
considerations, we're back to Act 46 on the last,
Oh,
it's all about the school.
for students in the elementary school, 3 to 5, yeah, so that's already been changed. So now, the whole, that optimal size for student, that's why we had to go with the co-op, was because we had to have a certain number of students in our
Mhm.
school district. Well, that's when they decided, well, let's merge all these little schools together and make a supervisory.
Yeah.
So, worked out well.
You know what they're talking now? Consolidating the supervisories and trucking them like they do down south,
Oh, into the-
ain't they?
Yeah, I think it's a tough thing. I mean, there's so much mileage
yeah,
in between.
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah,
agree with you,
yeah.
but that's what they do down south too.
and I know their thought was, well, you know, teachers, you could change teachers or whatever in 2 different schools, well, you need to come to this area and see how far Waterford and Walden
Yeah.
are. I mean, that's not
Yeah.
feasible. In Burlington, they can probably do it,
Yeah.
or, you know, but, yeah, so yeah, that whole thing, we already did the whole merging because of the numbers.
So, what are our considerations other than, this is all about the school?
I think it just all we're talking about is maybe growth and population and.
Yeah, I don't see it really changing more than that for the school, and you're not gonna build like a regional high school or anything. That's here.
No,
I wouldn't think so, but I don't, whatever comes out of Montpelier is what's gonna get jammed down our throat.
for years, they've always were pushing the middle school,
Yeah.
try to do a central middle school for several areas. And get the kids, because if the younger numbers could take over the whole school like Waterford, and then the middle school section would go to a new building. Don't know where this new building would be, but that was a big push for quite a while. But- So basically, I mean, considerations would just be the incoming population of students. to-
Right.
Yeah, but
To
it's
the-
not just,
We
it's
can't,
not just that is what we gotta consider for planning. We've got, it's just like this whole subdivision that we talked about the other night. We've gotta do better and making sure that when we do these subdivisions, that we don't create a mess. That's gonna be a thorn in our side forever. The way they did that subdivision. Because now you've got a private road coming onto a highway, which is not a good spot anyway,
No.
even for a driveway. You know, this is how
but the,
crap happens, and you start riding around some of these different towns. You ever been up in the backside of Derby?
Mhm.
what do I wanna say? In back of Hayes Ford.
Yep.
You go out
Yeah,
those
down
side,
little, yeah,
those
turnstiles.
side streets, you've probably never been, you,
No.
No, yeah,
you scroll around mailboxes and this and that, and you go, and there's a street up there with 10 houses on it, and then you go up the street, and it's crazy.
Screwy.
Oh, it's nuts.
so as far as school consideration, planning wise, it would be whether the building would, what is the capacity if we have more students.
But
And
it's
then-
nothing we can do.
No, but is there the capacity to add on
Oh,
or
sure.
do, so, I mean,
It's just one of those things though that people do, I mean, we know from our own surveys that these are important issues to people, so having the information at least is
that
helpful.
there is
Whether
room
we
for
can
growth
do anything about
at
it,
the Waterford location.
yeah,
That we wouldn't have to truck our kids to Walden. Or,
Right.
you know, somewhere that did have more space. But,
Well, I think there's a bunch of land that's there, like if we needed to
Yeah.
expand that school, we have plenty of room, right? Like we have where the soccer fields are and the basketball.
Out
field.
that
If
way.
we ever needed to expand that, we could.
Can you pull up the tax map? I think it's
oh,
oh gosh.
8-9 acres.
Sounds about right.
Okay.
yeah,
I can't-
Because it goes up into the woods, cause you have the trails that's there, and it goes basically to Fenoff's
yeah.
land that's there.
Yep.
So there's still plenty of land, I
Cause
mean.
you can't go out behind and you can't go to
Right.
the right because of the swamp, unless you filled that in, but I'm sure there's a frog or something that lives there that
Right.
we could do.
Couple.
Yeah, that we couldn't do anything in. But so, like, if we wanted to put a clause in this, we could just say, you know, if the fluctuation in our number of students increased significantly, there would possibly be room for expansion at the property located on Duck Pond Road.
But Barnett's got 100 and some odd acres at their school site.
Yes,
Which, again, is nothing to Barnett because it's the supervisory unit. They don't even own the property, just no more than we do.
the whole thing.
We won't have any part of that decision.
No, well, but if we all of a sudden had 100 new students move in or whatever, the school would, they would
The town
kinda,
will have nothing to do with it.
well, the school can't just put something in there
Right.
without the town approval, can they? I mean,
Well, sure they can.
cause they're a school, they can do what they want, I mean,
School,
they are part of Waterford, whether or not Waterford owns the land, but it is town of
doesn't-
Waterford.
Town of Waterford doesn't make any decisions at that school. It's all the supervisory unit. We can stand at town meeting and jump up and down and scream and holler. It don't matter. Right?
You don't
Well,
own, you don't own my house,
we-
but if I
we've got
decide
one
to
or
put a
two
huge
people on the
addition,
board.
the
Right.
town will be.
For the school board, or what,
At the supervisory unit. Or we don't even have a school board technically, do we?
no, we have the CCSD school board, which we have there's 3 representatives from each town on that board.
Right.
And then that's the local district, and then we have, 2 members from that board that are on the supervisory union board. So, and part of it is, you kinda look at what Danville's going through, with whether they're deciding to do a new school, or renovate it, or something in between, and that's part of, I know they've I don't know if it necessarily had to go in front of the town to get approval from them, but I know that at least it's gone to town meeting to discuss it. So, I would assume that
But Danville's their own. Yeah, Danville.
Danville's in the same supervisory union as we are.
Yeah, but they're still their own. Cause Tucker was Danville's.
Yeah.
Supervisor. But also he was the merged
Yeah, the co-op.
of the co-op too.
Yeah.
And Cabot and Twin.
Yeah, so I don't know how,
Well, I'm just saying what would probably happen, because there's such a fluctuation in numbers. Like, we have a lot of wiggle room. That
Yeah.
school can take a lot more students. But like Concord used to have, they had those trailers or
Mhm.
whatever, those little cubes. Like, so if they decided they wanted to put one on that
Yeah.
property, the town would say, okay, as long as they're septic. I mean, that would be the issue would
Yeah.
be, but that would have to still come to the town, right?
not septic, we,
Goes to the state.
goes to the state.
Okay, so state, well, so, I mean, I'm just thinking that,
Yeah, I
You know.
got you.
yeah, even if the supervisor would agree to it and buy the housing unit or whatever, but
Yeah.
it would still, I would think, would have to come to some sort of town plan. Like, they couldn't put it down by the end of the road or in the
Right.
swamp section or that type of thing. But,
And I would assume something like that would have to come in front of town meeting too, if it's a big if it's a big thing that needs to happen. I don't,
It's nothing that we're gonna put money into something that we don't own? Absolutely not. We gave it away. We were dumb enough to do that. Town of Barnet, they gave away 100 and some odd acres, and they were absolutely livid about it. And I don't blame them.
that's what the state was,
209,
that we had.
limitations on municipal bylaws, education facilities. Third sentence down, so they can bypass us altogether.
Facilities, sorry. National flood insurance. Okay. So,
Yeah, unfortunately,
Mhm.
I believe they can do whatever they want. We're not gonna be able to,
so as far as the town, our part, town plan, then we don't need to put anything in, because if we can't do anything, it doesn't need to be in our plan, right?
Just
So-
informational section, I
So,
think.
Yeah.
I don't think we
yeah,
need a
so then
plan.
that's fine, then
Yeah.
we can just
Cross
say,
that whole
well,
thing.
that's no
Just
reason to put it in.
information.
Okay.
And then he can put it together in something like this, people can look at it.
yeah, oh, it is what it is, but
Right.
Mm-hmm.
for us to wring our hands about how we're gonna,
Accommodate this and that, yeah.
but to give any false hope to anybody, any citizen reading this, saying, oh, we can,
Yeah.
it's
Nope,
out of our
that's-
hands.
Right.
That's part of the reason during that vote I got so wound up, that
Not you.
we weren't given all the information.
Can I, suggest that we divvy these up, and then next meeting,
Sure.
we'll get our stuff together, see if we agree with them, so I can get them to Kyle.
Sure. But I'm at a loss at considerations.
Well, I think we decided not to put that,
Right, but we gotta consider, we must have other considerations besides the school that we have to put in here.
under education? No, we don't.
Is this its own heading? Considerations?
Planning considerations is its own.
Does it have
school.
anything else to do with the school? I thought the school, now we got planning considerations.
About education.
You sure?
Yep.
Yeah, because
Okay,
it was in
yeah.
the same as something else over here. We just
Okay.
had that
If you
same.
look at the
Yep, okay.
It's like
education,
a- yep.
there just won't be one.
Okay.
So he's gonna
Yep.
take education, you're
Yep.
gonna take transportation, cause highways are in there. And I'm gonna take housing, so we did number 3 today.
Oh, you take.
Yes.
Did you take the ones we did? Wait, I want those.
Yeah, you want that?
I want those.
Well, I was gonna let you pick which one you want next.
What are my choices?
This is what we're left with. Everyone takes 2. Is that right? What do you want?
I don't know anything about
Easy.
anything.
I know,
Maybe
me
we'll
neither.
get land
Andy?
I think Angie was saying that.
Alright, okay. Then. I think flood resilience should be easy too. It's only 2 pages.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
that's a good.
that seems,
Well, after
that
this.
needs a lot.
I
of
think
work.
you ought to pick it.
I don't know, I would have
That's
before this
all.
last
Yeah,
few storms,
exactly.
and like,
I think we should just X out that whole thing and give it to Kyle.
say, yeah, what we thought was not
Alright, well,
gonna have
we'll
flood
try.
issues.
So we got energy. Looks really big, but I don't know that we need it to be really big, but I'll take it. Now I got mine too. So economic development and flood resilience is left.
I'll take the flood resilience one.
Yes. And,
Brave soul.
I have no clue what economic.
yeah, I'm gonna take a look at it now.
Yeah, you're in the banking industry at one time.
Let's see what it is.
What else you got?
Wait, oh, it's all as per statute. You should
Oh.
definitely take that.
Okay, so as long as the statute hasn't changed, I'm gonna be like, yes. that's
Right,
it.
right. Or we don't need any of this
Probably
stuff.
none of it, cause no one's ever read it.
Like, who cares about the, okay, I'm sorry.
I know, like, yeah, that's one of the ones we've all flipped over and no one's paid attention to.
Exactly.
So,
Okay.
11, plan implementation, are we gonna just X out that whole section?
Where are you?
What page?
What page?
65.
Okay, wait, no. Okay, so what this is each section of the town plan has their own goals,
Yep.
except education, the school. And so then we put those down, and that becomes our goals for this plan, and then we'll go over if we have any action
Okay, so we
steps.
did 3, correct?
Yep,
Which was community facilities and services.
yep,
So we should go through that now.
now,
Because we went through the section, we might just as well go through the goals.
read
This regular.
goals, page 16. Go to page 16. Goals and action steps, that's the section. So we X'd out 1 and 2.
Yep.
And
So 3 would be left in there, 4,
but,
so that should be all good.
yep,
Okay,
okay,
I'm just,
yeah. So then that, we would just move, he would move over to
Yeah,
there.
they'd end up being 1 and 2 instead, yep,
Right,
okay.
so
So-
anyway, that was my thought, and then next month,
who's got the housing part?
I did. No, I took energy and housing.
Oh, you are so wonderful.
Yeah, I took it.
Okay.
And when we come back next month, we'll see, you can't take all that stuff out of there, Maria. Right. But yeah, so maybe
Make
next,
this into like a, 10-page.
Exactly.
Then everyone will like,
So when you're going through the housing part,
yes, sir.
it's just like Chris telling us that we should
Oh, yeah.
rewrite those 2. We didn't get our flood maps from the state, which, they said that they would get it to us so we can review it, and, that's something that we've got to do when they come.
So they haven't come yet? Cause that was on the agenda for today.
He said that he would have them here, and there's nothing, the only thing we got was Eversource that came in the mail. Well, that's what wants to do for the road frontage.
Oh, that's right, we were gonna reword that so it wasn't questionable, which I don't, so that they couldn't say,
Right.
so they did this, so we should be able to do that, like down the road, if they redid the whole thing, then.
You're the
redid
lawyer.
and-
I don't see, I don't see how they could misconstrue what's already written. So I'm washing my hands. I'll be devil's advocate for what's there, but
Right.
I think it's clear as day that frontage is frontage, an easement or a right-of-way is easement or a right-of-way. The two don't overlap anyway.
Well, did you wanna make that more clear or no?
I don't know how you can do
The only way
it.
you could make it more clear is if you put in a definition of each. The frontage is defined as this, and X is defined as that, and then if you think that is clear, then leave it. If people are confusing the terms, make it clear.
Oh, and the other thing is, that's getting pushed through, is having a subdivision all one and done meeting.
Yeah, and I don't, is that something that we can put in our, we can't put in our plan, that has to be something that DRB has to adopt, or can we say all subdivisions should be a minimum of 2 DRB meetings?
Or two,
Minimum, I mean.
yeah,
I mean, that would be pretty much like, or you can put, if you really want, has to have 2 meetings or more.
yeah.
I mean, but I don't know if that would be us or would that be a different department? Like, can we put that in here in our subdivision?
It always used to be the difference between a minor subdivision and a major subdivision. A subdivision could be as long as 3 meetings or as few as 2, but you had to have a preliminary
Right.
and a sketch. So it was, for a major one, it was a preliminary, then a sketch, then a final. So we used to combine the preliminary, the sketch and the preliminary
Yeah.
if it was well thought out
Mhm.
in one. We made that decision. But we always had at least 2.
Right.
So people could see what was
Right.
brought before us, and if they had thought it through, and we could see, okay,
Mhm.
Maria said, I'd like to see it, then we'd have a site visit.
Yep. Right.
But they're in such a yank, the DRB, that they wanna push it through and, oh, let's get it done today. They've got the map, and they don't even think that they wanna go look at it. And that's what, partially the problem that they got now, with this last subdivision that they did. Frontage, portion of a lot which is adjacent and parallel to a street, road, or right-of-way.
There you got it there then. Does it do what an easement is and right of way?
That's,
Doesn't say anything about easement, but.
Yeah, because I asked what the difference between an easement and a right of way is. So,
Mhm.
because to me,
No.
define blue, define red.
Oh, I can just tell you, it's always the first place I go.
Well, agree with what you're saying, but
reading a law.
how far down this rabbit hole do we go on definitions? You know, if you're
Well,
sitting on the DRB or
Show
the
me
planning
the
commission,
section that you're referring to that talks about that frontage, was it 209?
30320.
30. Oh.
302, I think.
Okay,
I've got review sections 502 and 302.
oh, you haven't been in on this discussion,
No.
have you? Okay, so good, you're gonna be our guinea pig.
Wonderful.
He's gonna ask you what you think it means.
Yeah. Okay. 302. You said 520 is the other one?
502.
502, okay.
So you have to have frontage either along a public road or along waterways.
Okay, rural residential district. Right here. Lot frontage,
200.
200
And that
feet.
says 50 feet. In the words.
Where?
On the other side, 302. If I remember right.
Right here.
302 of at least 50 feet in width.
Permanent easement or right of way.
Yeah,
See, it's not
I-
that clear.
no, it's not clear, and having it as a permanent easement is a little bit dicey of what that could be, too. Whereas if a frontage, so when I think of frontage, it should be along the right of way that you buy of a public roadway.
Okay,
Or if there's an so the only time an easement plays in, if there's an access easement that comes along, do we want to let people have frontage along that? You know what I mean? So if you do a subdivision that goes out and it's a private road.
Yep.
That permanent, then that would be considered an easement and not a right of way.
okay,
Because they have a shared access.
right. They have a shared access by the private road.
Right.
Okay. So that means if we all lived on it,
Yeah.
none of us actually own that private road.
Right, unless it's in the
Except
deed of.
Her,
Yeah.
who has the lot that abuts this town highway.
Oh, I see.
You see what I'm
Which is where
saying?
the frontage is.
Correct.
Yeah.
We just have a right of way across her property to
Right.
get to ours.
Which would be considered an easement, probably more.
A
than-
right of way, or
An
easement and
access
right of way to me is the same.
Yeah.
I've just been in,
Yeah, I see what you're
I've
saying.
done this for too long,
Yeah.
and I'm set in my ways, that's why I want different viewpoints.
Right, yeah, I didn't know that, I thought they were same thing, so I was, but I thought all of us, I thought we had to have 200 feet, and then if you had a right of way, you can have a right of way off of the 200 feet of somebody's, right? I mean,
But you cannot own the property.
no,
If you have a lot out back, you
Yeah.
cannot own 50 feet of road
Correct.
frontage.
correct,
But road frontage is road frontage.
right. It goes to the person that
You have.
gives the right of way.
Right, you can
Yes.
have 50 feet of right of way across her property,
Mhm.
So the only thing I wonder is if we need a definition in there, not to add more definitions, but a definition for a right of way and an easement, so that it's clear of what
Okay,
those are. And I
don't disagree with you,
yeah,
but, I'm pushing 30 years in this, and it just sounds foolish to me to have to say, define colors.
right.
Yeah, but you see, you've been doing it for 30 years.
I gotcha.
So, like, I glaze over when people start talking, and I'm like, they're just the same thing. They're just saying the same thing a different way. Right away, easement, so
But they are synonymous,
they are,
but a frontage is not.
right.
And I look at right of way and easement as like two completely different things. So when I think of so if there's a private road that's going through for a subdivision, I see that as an access easement for everybody who lives in that subdivision. Because the only thing you need that for is to access, right?
Mhm.
But so when I think of right of ways, it's actual public roads, not private roads. Even though you have the right of way to get to your house, right?
Mhm.
I think that is more as an access easement or an easement versus a right of way.
Okay, I'm just looking for different viewpoints.
I'd be curious, so when, like that latest subdivision, whichever one that was, that just got approved, the roadway that goes through that subdivision, is that considered right of way or is it considered an easement
Well,
when
what
it gets approved?
it did get approved, all in one night. That's the other, in my craw, they got 57 feet of frontage,
Okay.
and that's the way it's drawn out.
Um,
You've got a lot, I'm gonna make it square. Town road's here. So they had this point to this point, they got their 200 feet.
yeah.
From here to here is 57.
Oh, okay.
So
it's-
on this 57 feet, there's also another 25-foot right-of-way to the lot that's back here
Oh,
that, was this one. Now you've got a 25-foot right-of-way plus this 57 feet going to this lot.
mhm.
Then you've got a lot over here, and the driveway is, I'm not sure where exactly it is,
Yeah, I gotcha.
on a curve.
Okay.
Well, it's a blind curve because you're back here going like this, coming on the road. It's not a good situation.
Right.
And the DRB, I'm sorry, really screwed the pooch. So,
Okay.
Do they not know?
I don't know what they were thinking. It sounds to me like they just couldn't wait to do this. And I don't believe they got told all the information that was pertinent. I would have wanted to see a site visit.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think they understood what it was actually gonna look like when it was divided and, okay, so now you just have this 57-foot section.
Yep.
Which should never, it should be 200 feet.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That was plain and simple, that should have been,
Yeah.
the property should always have 200 feet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so somehow or another, they got confused with the frontage and the right of way,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
which I don't, that's my biggest issue is how can you confuse those two?
Yeah. I mean, it should be clear. Like Crystal, it's very hard to.
Okay, that was my point in asking you to read that, but frontage is frontage. A right of way or easement
They're separate.
is different.
Would that have been Chris who would have brought up, wouldn't he have known any of that when he gave permits out, or he didn't do any of that, so, or
Well, he would deny it and it'd have to go to the DRB. The DRB's the one that did this.
So they don't know the difference between frontage and easement.
I don't know. I'd really like to have them sit down and tell us.
How did you say that this was fine?
Yeah.
I mean, what wording made you agree
Yeah.
to letting this pass? Because according to our 200 feet, that should never pass, and that's pretty explanatory in that stuff.
Yeah.
They should have known that, so there was something they heard or saw or read or whatever that made them think that it was fine to pass.
All I've got is secondhand wording, verbiage. One person said, well, people don't want to buy property with right-of-ways on them.
No,
Okay,
then you don't buy that property that's
Right.
behind it. You don't subdivide a property that's gonna be landlocked. You have to subdivide more of it or change your configuration.
well, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
But that was the reasoning of messing with this.
Yeah.
It's hard to sell. That's not up to the DRB or the planning commission to worry
Right.
about that.
Right.
So when DRB does something that planning commission thinks is not in accordance to the plan, would it then go, like, can you
How do
voice
you
that
cure
to
it?
select board, or do you
Yes.
voice that to the DRB chair, or,
This is the second time they've done it.
so, that they either need to educate DRB, because like, I could go on DRB and I'd be like, yeah, okay, you say that's good.
Right.
You convinced me. I
Right,
mean,
I'm
I
in.
don't know, but so is that something? Yeah. So how does it get fixed?
How's the enforcement? Like,
Right.
what now?
Okay, so the first one they did was Sharon Kaplan.
Yep.
She wanted to do a 2-lot subdivision.
Yep.
She had 300 feet and she was gonna split it. 535, 350 feet. She was gonna split 2 lots and have 175 feet in each lot of frontage.
Yep.
DRB approved it. It came to the listers. I looked at the Mylar and said, what's this?
Yeah.
I handed it off to the select board. And they rescinded it.
So that's how. So DRB gets it, and but you're lucky you saw that as a lister, because if not, like the one that did just get passed, which is really nothing we can do about it now, right? I mean, because
Part of the issue was, I heard about it, I saw it, I brought it to the select board again. Chris told the select board chairman, he's looking at it wrong. So by the time it all got said and done, the 15 days went by.
so.
Yeah,
So both of them have gone past the 15 days.
nothing.
Just the one.
The one,
Just
yeah,
the one,
'cause,
but we got the second one that.
the first one, she sold it as one big parcel, right? Sharon's.
Well, it got nixed. They
Right,
got,
that did get stopped, so that subdivision never went
Right.
through. But the other one has been approved.
Yep.
It's gone past the window
15 days.
of grievance,
Okay.
so
Done.
we're kind of, but that's why we talked about changing any of the wording so that
Doesn't happen
it
again.
doesn't happen again. So then I guess if we could figure out a good way to word it, would it be in the interest to go to a DRB meeting, be on their agenda and say, we would like to make sure you read our new update and that you understand it, because,
Two have passed through,
yeah, that,
right,
we're thinking there's some misconstrued, you know, like
Yeah.
your understanding of what's on paper, so.
Yeah, I agree, but.
I just don't know how we, like, we need to make it very simple worded, so that they, like,
Well, yeah, and when you were told that you're reading it wrong, how were you reading it wrong? No explanation?
No.
Okay.
yeah, cause I mean,
That's
I-
coming from Chris.
I don't understand much of it, but I can figure out 200 feet of right of way means 200
Right.
feet, not
Right.
57,
Right.
50, whatever, so,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's
Well,
where,
that's my issue, that's, and, you know, it wasn't 20 years ago that we had the 175 feet issue. It
Right.
was less than 2 years.
yes,
Oh my.
yeah, that was recent, I remember that.
It's recent memory.
So a lot of the board is still,
So, would you be willing to go to a DRB meeting with me?
Yeah,
Okay.
who's their chair?
yeah,
Is it
who are
Robin?
they?
And Fielder.
Hey, nobody knows me, so it's good.
No, you just have to be able to put duct tape on my mouth or stop me from choking somebody.
That would be by talking, I'll talk.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll go.
okay, so,
We should just add, I don't know when they're meeting, like, they meet on Mondays.
Yeah.
There's the second or third Mondays,
they had it Monday night.
so.
So, we've got meeting minutes to approve. Have we
Yes.
got the right people to approve them? Because
No, I
he can't vote on something that he wasn't
Right.
here.
We're starting with May 15th.
Do you
I'm
know
glad.
who was here, May
Me and
15th?
Bob
Sure, I can check with Steve.
and you.
Boy, you
I-
got-
Nice.
Well, the only reason I think because I forgot my phone at home and I got your text and your message and I got home because you
Right.
you had a
No,
migraine.
that was in July.
Oh, was that July? Oh,
Yeah.
geez, sorry,
That was
wrong
just
month.
last
I
So May 15th was Maria, Kim, and Howard.
Oh,
So
we
we
can
can do
approve that.
that one.
Okay,
I make a motion to approve May.
Second.
all those in favor?
I
Aye,
Motion passed. Okay, June.
And
June.
26th.
Oh yeah, we are in August now.
can you believe it?
Crazy.
Oh,
This
goodness.
summer's been
Oh.
washout.
That was your driveway.
Eh.
Yeah.
Needs something.
Little.
Needs some maintenance.
My husband likes his old Ford tractor and wants to fix that driveway. with
Does
it.
he?
There's like.
June 26th was Maria, Kim, and Bob.
I wasn't here?
Oh, yes, and you.
Oh, I was gonna say Howard.
And Howard.
Oh my goodness. I make a motion to approve the.
Second.
All those in favor?
Alright.
Aye. All good?
And July
Is you guys.
was Howard, Kim, and Bob.
Here you go.
There were two, no, we don't have a quorum.
You can have
Right,
three.
3.
Oh, dang.
I knew that.
We were close.
Oh,
Call Bob up. I don't know where you are, but.
Yeah, right.
Cape Cod.
Oh.
Oh, nice.
There's a lot of cars in his driveway though. Big
Hope
party
they didn't
going on
get
down
rained
there. I don't
out.
know.
Well, he's visiting his daughter, so it's probably
Oh.
his son is having a
Oh no, I don't know. There's a bunch of cars there. Yeah, that's right. But he graduated. So he's going
Okay,
to college.
so,
Reorganization is also on the,
yeah, we can't do,
Pass.
can do it.
I'm not gonna do it until we have the full board.
All right.
And then
March it'll be.
There you go.
agenda items for next meeting.
Review town plan.
Yeah, review town plan, flood resiliency maps, hopefully.
And meeting
And,
with DRB. Or
Right,
should
discuss
we-
the
Yeah.
meeting.
Yeah.
at that point,
well,
'cause
that'll be before us. It'll,
it'll
so
be
it'd
just
be the-
update.
Update on DRB.
update on the, whatever you call it this month. On the 302 and 502.
Right, yep.
Okay.
Okay,
Yep, that'll work. On
that's
that.
clear as mud, isn't it?
All
We should
right.
make shadow puppets and.
And then should I put reorganization on there again, just in case?
You
Sure.
Yeah.
Just keep throwing that on the
We'll
end.
keep trying.
Wait, you have to
Do
adjourn.
you want to make a motion to adjourn?
Yes, second.
in favor?
Right?
Right.
All approved.
Nice to see you.
Turn the little shindig off.
I'm sorry I haven't been here.